Welcome to the Success Through Failure podcast, the show that reveals failure as your path to success. You'll listen to intriguing interviews with some of the most successful people on the planet and learn how their failures became a launchpad for success and how yours can too. Here's your host, former Division I All-American wrestler, former Division I head coach, speaker, and personal coach, Jim Harshaw.
2016 is winding down, and here's my question for you. Are you where you thought you'd be at this point in the year? Do you have goals that you'd hope to have accomplished by now that are still just miles away? Do you feel like you're just pulled in too many different directions to get to the things that you really want to do? Or maybe you feel like you just don't have enough time in the day, and as a result, you feel like your life is out of balance. Maybe you feel like you're focused on work and your family, but you're always just shortchanging one or the other. Well, I've got good news for you. None of those is actually the problem. The problem is that you don't have a system, a framework for getting the right things done in your life so that you can create the life that you want. A few years ago, I discovered the system that high performers in every walk of life use to achieve huge goals. And my bet is that you've actually probably used this system before too, but you just don't know yet. It's simple and powerful, and I've personally taught dozens of amazing people this system, and now they're getting even more out of their lives. I'm talking about professional athletes, past Olympians, doctors, MBAs, successful entrepreneurs, college coaches, high school principals, and salespeople. Once you know this system, you will have the clarity, focus, and balance that you're looking for. You'll find yourself automatically being more consistent without that resistance that you feel today, that resistance to living the way that you wish you were living now. That resistance just melts away, and high performance becomes your norm every day. Now, whether you want to make another $50,000 a year, or if you want to create the space in your life to go on more date nights with your spouse so you don't become just another statistic, or if you want to spend more time going to your kids' games, going to your kids' events, or maybe you want to knock off some big items on your bucket list, like taking a trip to Thailand or running a marathon, when you know the system, you'll be able to create the life that you want. And I can show you how. A recent client named Isaac said this. He said, "This whole process has brought me back to my roots where I was most successful, when I was organized, hungry, and driven right out of college. This is getting me back to waking up early, setting goals, writing things down. I'm understanding where I need to be and where I need to work instead of just trying to survive." Another named Irina said this. She said, "I feel like I've taken a huge leap forward, like I went straight from first gear to fourth gear." How cool is that? I mean, what would your life be like if you went straight from first gear to fourth gear right now? What would you be doing right now? What kind of car would you be driving? What would your health and fitness be like? What would your relationships be like? What would it feel like waking up tomorrow morning? Just like them, you can find more time in your day. You can find the clarity you're looking for. You can rise above the mediocrity that is around all of us and pulling you toward the average. You can find the focus and the consistency that you need to get from where you're at now to where you want to go. Or maybe you'll be like Jared, who said this. He said, completing Reveal Your Path, which is the name of my program. It's called Reveal Your Path. He said, completing Reveal Your Path has left me with the clarity that I was searching for with my goals, the direction I need to head in many areas, and a tangible plan to get there. Now, since completing Reveal Your Path, Jared has taken a huge promotion. He's been doing amazing things in his life. And by the way, all of these people are real people, and you can get to know them if you actually join the next team, the next Reveal Your Path team that starts December 5th. This is what I want you to do next. I've set aside some time to talk to you about how you can apply this framework, this system to your life starting today. And it's totally free. I will walk you through the 4-step process. And here's my promise on this call. We will identify one area in your life where you want to find clarity and take action. We'll work together to create an action plan. I'll hold you accountable to that plan, and you'll begin to see this process work. No catch, no gimmicks. Why am I doing this? Of course, you're going to ask that. because I want you to see results. That's my plan. If you can see results from a 15-minute strategy call, my hope is that you'll join the next Reveal Your Path team that begins December 5th, so that you can, begin to attack 2017 with clear goals and an action plan. If you see results from one short phone call, and you will, I think you'll want more. If not, then you're still better off for taking the call and making the call. And I'll feel great because I'm living out my passion of helping people learn this 4-step process so that they can transform their own lives. And that's what I love to do. But here's the deal. It's not for everyone. For example, if you think that you don't have any areas of your life where you can get better, don't bother setting up the call. If you're not willing to follow through on a clear action plan, don't bother calling. If you're not excited about the opportunity to go from, like Irina said, to go from first gear to fourth gear, if that doesn't move you deep inside, it's not worth our having a discussion. If you're excited about growing and evolving and taking huge leaps in your life so you're not sitting here a year from now looking at 2018, which would be right around the corner a year from now, and wishing that you'd taken action a year ago, then let's talk. Go to jimharshawjr.com/call. That's CALL as in phone call, jimharshawjr.com/call before November 30th. There's a deadline on this, before November 30th, and claim one of the few spots left on my calendar for one of these free strategy calls. I look forward to talking to you.
defines your character. And all the times when people may look upon the times when I've failed, actually the way I look at it is that it's opened up other possibility, or it's strengthened my character to be able to take on even tougher challenges in the future. So my perception of failure is not, a point event where I failed. It's actually a stepping stone to success and moving forward. That's my approach to failure.
In my TEDx talk titled "Why I Teach My Children to Fail," I say almost verbatim the exact thing of what you just said. I say failure is not the opposite of success; it's actually a necessary step on the path to success. It's not; they're not opposites. I think that's hugely important. It's down to perception, Jim, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
How we perceive a situation. If we perceive it as a failure being, well, that's the end point, that's it, then that's going to dictate the actions we take in the world and therefore the results we get. However, if we see it as a bit of an opportunity, then it dictates different actions. I have a thing just very quickly, a distinction: problem, challenge, and opportunity. There is a difference. A problem is static, whereas challenge and opportunity are active. So let's go back to sport, because that's a good example. Now, I'm not an expert in American football, but I know enough to give you this analogy. So think of two teams, two sides opposing each other, the attacking team and defending team. If you see a problem is static and it's just in your way and there's no energy in it. It's like the attacking team facing off the defending team before the whistle has gone. It's just static. And we have problems in our lives which just sit there doing nothing because we're not ready to take them on. But then going back to the football game, when the whistle goes, should we choose, we can turn that problem into a challenge. And we turn that problem into a challenge when we choose to attack and we move forward and take on what's in front of us. There's energy involved. And that energy and that courage comes from our why, our belief, our higher purpose, our cause, being in service of others. And as we fight through that defensive line, that challenge, and we start to see a clearing, that's when the challenge turns to opportunity. An opportunity in this example is the touchdown line. And we can make that line, and then opportunities start to blossom. So, whether we're talking about failure or whether we're talking about problems in our lives, problems, challenge, opportunity, it's all dependent on our perspective, how we perceive the situation, and how we choose to attack, and how we choose to find the courage to move forward and take these things on. And sometimes we're not ready to take on problems, in which case that's okay. There's nothing worse than people saying, oh, you should see that problem as an opportunity, when we're not ready to take it on and transform it from being a problem to a challenge and then being an opportunity. And when we have these distinctions on our mind, it helps us figure out what it is we choose to do next. And the energy for that, the inspiration for that, the courage for that comes from our why, our higher purpose, our cause, our belief.
Yeah, you said it. Start with why. Peter, thanks so much for making time for this. This was just absolutely incredible. I appreciate your time. Can you share with the audience, with the listeners, where we can find you, follow you, etc.?
Sure. You can find me and the rest of the Start With Why team on startwithwhy.com. If you want to discover your own why, you can find tools on that website to help you do just that. I also have my own website, which is called whynotunlimited.com, and there are other tools around how to harness the power of why there. And you can find me in the usual places, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., just by looking for my name.
Excellent. And for the listener, I will have links to everything you just mentioned there in the action plan, jimharshawjr.com/action, to grab that PDF with the links, as well as a lot of quotes and just sort of excerpts from this show. Peter, I think it's going to impact a lot of lives just listening to this interview, so thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for making the time. And for the listener, until next time, take the time to get clear on your goals and embrace failure as a stepping stone on your path to success.
Success Through Failure is a member of the Athlete on Fire podcast network. Check out all of our shows at athleteonfire.com.